All right, I just got my rewards. I just wanted to do a quick video going through the process that I go through each week to build some lineups. You can watch as little or as much of this as you want. Having any issues, knows exactly how everything works. So everything in my main sheet is updated. You can see these are my old competitions from the previous game week. Download the API from Sorare. Those will go away. Numbers are unsorted right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our gallery again from Sorare. So we go to Gallery Update. Just click Gallery Update, and I always include my common cards because I do play the All-Star competitions. You can do that or not do that. Slow process, but when you get done, it'll tell you that your cards have been successfully pulled. If you go to this Gallery Update tab, it shows you everything that it just pulled up to my Ryan Weathers that I just won last game week. It'll be my most recent one. If you have some new purchases, they'll show up here. What you're looking for in this Gallery Update tab is anything in yellow. If there's something in yellow, it means the player is not in the system. It needs to be added. If it's a player that's retired, is just irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You can leave them as yellow. So Adam Wainwright, retired. Pedro Severino, not in the league. I don't know if he's retired or not, but he's not playing anymore. Ji-Man Choi, not in the league. So those are my only 3 yellows. So I can go on to the next step. If you have yellows you think are still relevant, and you don't know what to do, you can contact me and I will add them. So once we've looked through all this, I'm going to click back over to my hitters tab and we're going to go copy players. And what that does is it copies everything from that Gallery Update tab into these particular sheets. So I have the SP, the RP, and the hitter sheets. So we're going to copy players and you're going to see it run this script here in front of you. Tells you what it's doing and you click OK, it'll start popping them in. Deleted this competition column, so those are fresh for the game week. And now you see they're all kind of jumbled together. So you have commons with limiteds, in seasons, classics. I want to get those sorted. So the next thing I'm going to do is sort by total game week. I prioritize the game weeks over the dailies. So the first ones I'm going to build are going to be game week. And when you do the sort by game week, it's going to put them in order by that total game week projection. So that's the game week projection multiplying in your card bonus. And you'll see that in this column N here. And then it'll put the in seasons first and it'll put the classics underneath. So this is the point where you have to decide which competitions you want to prioritize. So for me, my gallery is improving, but I don't have a lot of Phillies, and I think the Phillies are going to be the key lineup to have this week as they're in Coors Field for 4 games. Going to be a huge advantage. I do have a Harper. I know I have a common Schwarber. I have Cal Raleigh at 48. We, of course, have a couple of Shoheis now. So I think my all-star lineup is going to be my best one again this week. I'd love to go for Cash and Champ. I just don't think I have the guns for it. So I think we're going to prioritize that all-star lineup again. So I'm going to click over to this optimized team page and you'll see an old one here. Just ignore that. First thing you need to do is you need to filter players. And filtering players is where you select what competition you want the optimizer to give you a lineup for. So I want limited all-star. We're just going to hit select and it looks like it's not doing anything, but it's working. So just give it a little time. Got to be patient with this. Google's pretty slow, unfortunately. It's going to filter my hitters, and of course, if you have a giant gallery, this process takes a little longer. So I have 323 eligible players for All-Star competition. So once I've done that, you'll see eligible next to their names if they are eligible for that particular competition. Any sealed cards, obviously not eligible. And let's see what it gives us. It's a 4-game week. So I'm going to keep my flex position as any. This is my prime lineup, so I'm going to give it the chance to give me at least 4 energized players. So I'll use 3 commons. One of my classics is better than what I have for an in-season. I will use some energy on this lineup. I know I have some starters who have RP eligibility I could stick in there if I wanted to, but during 4-game weeks, I go with the traditional relievers, just hope they get a couple opportunities. So we're going to hit optimize and see what they give us. And it is working. I know it looks like it's not doing anything, but it is working. You only have to click it once. If you click it more than once, we run into issues. All right, 350.9 seems like a really high outcome here. I think this lineup has an actual shot. And you'll see, interestingly, that it gave you Munoz and Mason Miller. So 2 traditional relief pitchers would both have to have multiple appearances this week for this lineup to reach its full potential. It's a risk, but actually one that I'm not afraid to take. I think your upside play for the highest possible score would be using someone other than a relief pitcher in your flex. So I'm going to run one more and just see how close it is and who that extra player would be, and then I'll make my decision which lineup I want to use. So we go back to optimize, and this time I want to put a hitter in that flex position. And again, it is working. Just give it a second. And so that's really close, and obviously the hitter upside is better, so let's see who we get. Okay, now it's giving us Schwarber common here in corner, and it's giving us Harper, another corner, as our flex, and almost the same projection. So I think I like that a little better. Joe Ryan's been great. Munoz has been the best and most consistent reliever so far this year. Schwarber, obviously the great matchup. Cal Raleigh's been incredible this year. Taylor Ward popping up here is definitely a surprise, but 4 games for the Angels, where the ball is flying this year against Ginn, Hoagland, Sears, and Severino. No spectacular starters they're going against this week, and Ward's been heating up. As you can see here from this chart, you have his numbers over the last couple years, over the last year and a half. 240 is basically the end of last season and then this season, and then the 60 days on in are just this season's stats, but over the last 7 days, 3.44 so rare points per at bat. Last 2 weeks, almost 3. So he's hot. Don't mind getting him in there. He's actually the top-rated outfielder on my board this week. So I'm going to go with this. And I know what you're thinking. Taylor Ward? Really? Of all the outfielders to choose from, that's the guy you're going to go with. And I can tell you that last week, competition I did the best in, my priority competition, my sheet gave me Eugenio Suarez over Aaron Judge. And I had a little problem with that in my brain, but Suarez scored 36 and Judge scored 19. So the most obvious play is the one that most people will make. And I'm assuming the whole reason you're subscribed to my stuff is because you want a little bit different lineup based on all the factors that I bake into my projections. And it's saying Taylor Ward this week, and I'm going with Taylor Ward. All right, priority lineup 1 is set. Now, if you decide to use a lineup that the optimizer has come up with, it's real easy to mark the players as used. You just click this little button, runs the script. It'll tell you when it's done. So when you go back here, you can see they've been marked as all-star. Now, if you were to filter again, so if you went optimize filter players and went through that process again, it would take the eligibility away. If you don't want to wait for that, like let's say you have a collection with 2,000 cards and it takes a minute and a half to go through the filtering process, you can just go over to the optimizer column here, column R, and just delete the eligibility next to the guys that you've used. So if you're running the same competition and you just want to do it this way, you can certainly do that. Oh, I see George Kirby is going to be active this week. I have him sealed, so I'm going to have to unseal him by getting rid of the eligibility in column R. When I run my next optimization, it will just exclude those players or those cards. Let's say I wanted to run another All-Star. We're going to see what it comes out to. 349.8, obviously very good. We'll see how close our next one would be. We can just go right back to optimize. We don't need to filter again if we've manually taken the eligibility away. Flex, I'm going to put any again. We're going to see if it gives us the 2 relievers or if it just puts Miller in the relief spot and then gives us a hitter this time. Don't know that I want to use more energy. Use 75 in the last one. So we're going to just say 0 here. And again, going to avoid the starting pitcher in the RP spot. And it's working. It's just slow. 296.31. So a big drop between the primary lineup and the second lineup. Let's see what it looks like. Chris Sale's been very good. Mason Miller, obviously capable. Ohtani. Pena actually just got a day off. It was his first day off of the season, so I think he's probably back to full time. Pete Crow Armstrong's been incredible. Kyle Tucker, Corbin Carroll, so all very good players. A lot of these guys with 3 games, though, instead of 4. Don't know how competitive this lineup will actually be with all the 4-game game weeks this week. So we're going to look around a little bit. We're going to try a couple different things out, see where our next best lineup's going to be. And I have a pretty good collection of classic cards. So I think I'm going to go Challenger next. I'm going to build both of those with only classic cards. I don't want to use any of my in-season cards in a Challenger lineup because I think the lineups will be similar without the in-season cards, and then I can use whatever in-seasons I have left over in my daily games and try to win some stuff there. Crafting's been good to me lately, so we're gonna keep going with it. Want a Bobby Witt, want a Corbin Carroll, Randy Rosarena is my last 3 crafts, so excellent luck there. All right, we're filtered for Challenger, so if we go look at the hitters, you'll see all my in-seasons are eligible right now, but I don't want to use them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click on this empty cell, look for that little dot in the right corner and drag all the way down to the end of my in-seasons here, and blank them out. Easy as copying the blank cell over all the eligibles. The filtering process would include all those because they're eligible, but I don't want to. Here's my in-season relievers. Let's just get rid of those. And my in-season starters. And now, yes. So George Kirby is actually going to come up as my top pitcher for this competition, and he's sealed. I'm going to make him eligible. And I'm going to go to my cards. Got to search for him in the vault. Unseal. There we go. We click on him, and we unseal him. Okay, I've never done this before. There he is. He's back in my collection here. We can use him. All right, so no longer sealed, and he is eligible. Let's run a Challenger. I'm going to put any position for the flex. We're not going to use a starter in the reliever spot. Should have some decent relievers this week. All right, we're actually pairing a couple Seattle guys. Matt Brash is back from the IL, and he's looked good. Get to use another Ward here. Those 3 Wards are all going to be in use. Paredes, Tucker, Nolan Schanuel with 4 games, and Castellanos. Get another Philly and Coors Field in here. 271 in Challenger. Should be enough to win something, if that would go my way.
Want to dominate? Unleash the power of So Rare Edge. Optimize, strategize, win, win, win. Patreon link in the description.